Good afternoon, good morning, and hello, everybody. Wherever you are, we want to say welcome to a radio. Today is another day. We are again here to bring you basic information that are unfolding in Liberia. Before we proceed, today we expected the Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Justice to be our guest. Unfortunately, he's not here for now, and we hope that he will still come because he accepted to be here today. Um, Today, we still want to emphasize the issue and the importance of the Justice Ministry in ensuring that they provide the best of legal service for the people of Liberia. That institution has a fundamental responsibility to ensure justice and fair play for Liberians. Why are we talking about justice today? Our heart bleeds for uh, Princess Cooper. Princess Cooper body, lifeless body, was found in Pinsville, close to ERW Junction. And Princess Cooper, from media or from social media report, she was called, and then following that, she did travel to where she was to the place where her body was found. And the question is lingering: was she killed? What happened to Princess Cooper? That's the concern that we are having. And to discuss detail of these things and especially factual situations or surrounding circumstances, we thought it wise to invite someone from the Justice Ministry. We said, we said he was to have been our guest today. We don't know what has happened. Probably they are busy, or probably there's a change of mind. Anyway, we still will be hoping to host Alfonso Alfonso Wise, who is one of the assistant ministers. Better still, we will love to get the minister proper or the solicitor general. Any of them can come onto a radio. The people of Liberia want to know. We are also aware that the Ministry of Justice has informed Liberian that an autopsy has been ordered on the two persons in Liberia. But besides the autopsy report, we think very seriously that the Ministry of Justice should have had a preliminary examination of what may have unfolded. The autopsy report is only going to be telling Liberians as to the cause of death. But what actually happened, the autopsy is not going to say, okay, how blood was seen at a compound where Princess Lavette's body was found. It's not going to be talking about whether there was some fingerprint on the walls or on Princess' body. It's not going to be talking about, the condition of the compound, the phone calls. The preliminary investigation should have addressed some of those issues. We are also aware that the police did issue the first statement that there was no foul play. And these are concerns that we thought it wise that the ministry would have given some information about. To the contrary, the assistant minister is not yet, has not yet arrived. We don't have any information yet. We still think he's either going to come because he did not rescind his agreement to appear on this show today. But justice is a very cardinal issue for the survival of each and every Liberian. The Constitution did not fail to address the issue of security for a person. When the Constitution says a person, it means then each and every Liberian and foreigners in our country, they must be protected by the government. The people surrender their rights, their fundamental right to the government, to govern. And to govern, the primary issue for governance is to ensure that they provide security for each person in our republic. Hence, Princess is one of those Liberians who is allegedly or is said to have been killed. We at 2A Radio, and I think many other Liberians want to know who killed Princess Cooper, or what happens to Princess Cooper. Um, we just want to make one analysis from the social media post that we have seen. Uh, it's a fact that we saw blood. We saw Princess Lively body at the Fawaz building in Pinsville. It is a fact we saw blood um, on the compound near where Princess body was found. Several spots of blood. We do not know what happened to Princess, and we cannot pretend to know what happened to her. But it is assumed that Princess was called, and the phone called Princess left wherever she was and traveled to that building where she, unfortunately, we see, got killed or died, so to speak. We are careful here, but some of these basic facts we think the Ministry of Justice should be able to inform Liberians as to its preliminary findings. They are topsy report, and we want to be clear because we have had cases in the past. The Ministry of Justice should be able to inform Liberians about the preliminary findings. Ministry of Justice, burdened through the police, should be able to say what has happened. But the first press statement that came from the police was discouraging. And we think later on we saw the Ministry of Information issuing a press statement, and we're still hoping that the government of Liberia will be able to provide the most necessary information as to what has happened to Princess Cooper. The Constitution, Article 20, says no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, security of the person, property, privilege, or any other right. So let's look at this statement. No person did not say a particular person. It said no person, meaning each and everyone in Liberia should not be deprived of life. Why should people kill? You didn't give life. Why people kill? Is it a beautiful young girl for whatever reason? Let us assume she may have done the worst of things. You didn't give her life. Why take her life? She's dead and gone. She had her family. She's a child. She's the daughter of someone. And I'm sure she may have had a child, or she had a relationship. Why take her life? So the question is, conditions in the country must be of concern for everyone. It has been Imayo Niswa. It was auditors. It was 3 Liberians getting missing. It was one lady came from the States. She went to Liberia. She was gruesomely murdered in your house. Why? People keep dying in the country, and sometimes the report or information from the government is not providing answers. I would think the Ministry of Justice has that statutory obligation to interpret the laws or the happenings. Anything that borders justice, the Ministry of Justice should be able to provide answers. Injustices, the Ministry of Justice should be able to provide answers. So we see clearly the Constitution is very clear on what the framers intended. The framers intended that life is precious, and the fundamental reason, and I keep emphasizing the fundamental reason why a government exists is to ensure the security of the people. Before democracy, it was the survival of the strongest. Everybody fought to, whoever could conquer a piece of land, whoever could be the strongest person. But democracy is a fundamental means for which people believe that is better than autocracy or is better than society that are undemocratic. So when we say Liberia is a democratic nation, we expect that fundamentally people should not just die and there's no answers. So the Justice Ministry has that statutory obligation to protect each and every Liberian in that country. Somebody said, should the Justice Ministry put police in each house? When you listen to elementary statement like that, and sometimes you hear some of these statements from people who are well learned, do you think the Minister of Justice will go put police in everybody's homes? No, no, no. That's not what the Constitution or the framers intended. But the framers intended that the government of Liberia will provide an environment wherein the security of a person, each and every Liberian, will be protected. The government is the one that is charged with the responsibility to design the best of strategy to protect each and every Liberian. In America here, we have the number 911 is three digits that everyone in this country can remember. So as I said here, if I had armed men, just for argument's sake, entering this house, the very first thing I do, my phone would be the very first thing I would do to dial 911. And it will take no time. You will have police, barrage of police officers stepping in. If you had a 3-digit number, perhaps Princess would have died that 3-digit. But from what we are hearing, the only option she had was to call her friend. And what did she say? According to information, she said, I'm dying. I'm dying. They're killing me. While we wait on the preliminary investigation, that's what we're hearing. So our concerns are, one, before the government first statement, did the government take into consideration that there were phone calls made in the investigation in Princess' death? From what we have heard on social media, indeed, there were phone calls. Were there phones involved in Princess' death? From what we are hearing, it is alleged, and we believe that the pieces of information, the police should be able to tell us whether there were these phone calls made during in the Princess Kopor's death. The first call we heard was that Princess, it is alleged that Princess' friend informed social media, the Cool FM reporter said that indeed he saw the call log from Princess' friend's phone, Welle, I think the girl is called Welle, and that there was a call made to Princess Kopor, and Princess Kopor left. No, let me correct this. Princess Kopor told her friend that there was a call made to her, and then she was going there to come back. That's how she left. So we believe that statement, that's the first phone that the government of Liberia, the Justice Ministry, should have asked for. Where is that phone? Or where is that girl? Princess' friend. She is someone who can provide information as to whether what she's saying is true, that there was a call made to Princess. That being said, Princess left and went on the same. The second phone call we are told about is that before Princess' death, she made a call to her friend. And that's the phone call the journalist said they saw the number and timing of the call. If the journalist can even make an attempt to see a phone call, why not the police? Why not the Justice Ministry? Why did the police come out in the first place to say there was no foul play? So you need to know, and I hope before the autopsy report the police is waiting for, we want to challenge the police that they should not come up with any report without giving explanation as to these phones. The third phone allegedly, according to this cool FM reporter, was a phone was taken from Princess' bag after the phone was ringing. Likely, Princess' boyfriend was calling Princess, and then in the presence of a police officer, they opened Princess' bag and took out the phone. And they answered the phone, and this guy was angry why Princess has not gone back home. And according to information from this cool FM reporter, the police officers told the fellow to calm down and that he should come to where they were. So at least 3 phones may have been involved in Princess' death. Don't tell me in this age and time, the Justice Ministry or the police did not think that these phones could have pieces of information that could reveal something to them. So even if we said we don't know for a fact whether Princess received a call, if we say Princess did not call her friend, but there was a phone call in the presence of a law enforcement person, the police officer was there, according to the Cool FM reporter. So take this phone or go after the facts surrounding these phones, and your preliminary reports will point to something. Who called Princess Cooper? So that would suggest to me from the morning hour to that time to 1 p.m. before the death of Princess Cooper, there might have been a series of calls because Princess' activities would have been known, how she started her day would have been known from several phone calls. So the call law, the Liberia National Police, I hope they are going after the call law. They should be able to know for a fact some of those calls that were made. Very likely, maybe 2-3 identical phone number, called 2-3 different times. Likely, maybe the phone call coincided with the phone call that called Princess before she left. She went to perhaps a resident or business center. A serious attempt to unearth truth. There are a lot of circumstances that can lead to knowing who killed Princess Cooper. Another observation we have is that Princess Cooper was seen in a place of what? Blood. Like Princess may have been killed somewhere else, either in one of those rooms in the building, I would assume, because that building, is well built. It's a tall upstairs building. And somebody cleverly did some act and then brought Princess down, likely. But the police investigation will reveal what happened to Princess Cooper. And from the circumstances surrounding, just from a layman viewpoint, that is not a killing, as someone will say there was no foul play. How did the Princess get over there in the first place? That's not her house. How did she get there? Princess' friend is alive. I hope by now the police may have spoken with her. Where are the phones? The phones are significantly or importantly factors in determining what happened to Princess Cooper. Get the phones, get to the GSM company, and nobody should tell me that privacy, there's no privacy in that matter. That's a murder. So the Liberia National Police, the Justice Ministry, the Attorney General has the right to write any GSM company and request for the information. If there's no law, then they are responsible why you should not have had a law that will ban all GSM company in those kind of circumstances to turn over the necessary information for the purposes of determining the constitutional mandate that every person needs to be protected. The security of a person is important, so that should supersede any statutory law that gave any GSM company the right to operate. So if somebody died or somebody got killed, allegedly killed, and these phone communications are surrounding it, I see no reason why the Minister of Justice cannot see the call log and make a determination who may have called Princess Cooper. The way in which the Minister of Justice will approach a matter can assure Liberians as to how the Minister of Justice is fighting to protect them. The way in which the Minister of Justice will also go ahead in this matter will also signal to Liberians that, hey, we own our own. It's saddening for a young person just to die, unexpectedly. And the matter is not, there should be more force. There should be, the government of Liberia should apply every necessary effort to make sure that the preliminary investigation reveal whether Princess will die naturally. Well, they should say it. Whether somebody killed her, that should be, no matter who it is. There are some other rumors we're hearing, but we're not going to dwell on those ones. The government has a statutory constitutional responsibility to protect Liberians. And the way in which people are dying in that country, it doesn't speak well for the government's image. And the Justice Ministry is not doing well. And we think it's about time that the strategy of the Justice Ministry be revisited so that, the way in which people are dying would be halted. The robust approach as to how people are caught and prosecuted in this kind of killing will send signal to those who want to repeat similar act. Imai Yusa died. Whatever happened, we are yet to know the findings. Those 3 Liberians that got missing, those ones, we don't know what has happened. A lot more, the auditors, when these mysterious circumstances happen, and you don't, I was reading a news article just yesterday about America just discovered the killer after 33 years of someone that got killed. So it took the American government 33 years and they discovered who was the killer. In Liberia, it's different. Like Princess Cooper case, if we all are not careful, maybe the next 1 or 2 weeks will be over. And there will be no more investigation, no continuing investigation. Harry Grieve died. Who killed Harry Grieve up to today's date is of nobody concern. Even though the alien government gone, but the Justice Ministry, it doesn't matter which government. When you get to power, the purpose of wanting to get to power is to make a difference. You are pick up Harry Grieve's file and follow those investigations and see where the government ended, if there's any loophole or whether there's something they did not investigate, whether it was intentional or something. You go about seeking justice for Harry Grieve, for Imai Nyesua. Let's assume all of those killings. The way in which you handle the matters, you can send a signal that indeed the Justice Ministry, the arm of government, is doing extremely well to protect Liberians. But if somebody died and after a few weeks, the story died down, and will not hear again, and you want people to be clapping for you. That's not justice. Justice is about fair play. It's about ensuring that, hey, this person died. This, just from the preliminary investigation, the way in which you are even informed Liberians. From our preliminary investigation, we have gathered all of the pieces of information. The crime scene for Princess Kobe was never protected by the Liberian National Police. How did the journalist get in there? He got in there, he walked upstairs, and then, and you people are not taking social media very important. This information age is not something that you can be the best justice minister. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, like information is getting out about this girl's death, let us assume there was no media person there. Somebody would have probably taken that girl body and go dump it somewhere else. But good enough, the body was found in the building. The spotted blood was seen. Then you get that is not the latest resident. Up to this time, Liberia, I don't know, people are living just one day at a time. You ask anybody right now, say, we just pray God for tomorrow. There's not a good image for the country. Each and every one of you should do the best you can. Sometimes it's difficult, but the way you start to investigate a matter, people can know exactly how the seriousness of you all at the Ministry of Justice. That statement that came from the police spokesperson was not, and don't tell me Moses Carter said that on his own. Very likely, what was discussed was what he put out. Thinking that Liberian would just look at it and say, okay, you know what, this is something, okay, nothing happened. But hey, thank God for the social media. Those guys, the cool FM fellows that went over there, he did extremely well to inform us. He did extremely well. Because from that, we can make analysis. There were phones involved in Princess' death. At least, from my own analysis, at least 3 phones were involved. So either Princess had 2 phones, or Princess' phone that was found in her bag was not the phone that she used. Very likely, the cruelty of those persons who killed Princess may have won. And now, this is my own analysis. This is not for fight. May have decided to allow Princess, like kidnappers, right? People who kidnap someone, when they kidnap you, they take some other, maybe they use their own phone, or they want you to speak as though nothing happening to you. Why don't we think that the killers would have used a phone and make Princess to call on the phone and call a friend? Because they wouldn't want the body to remain in there. They want someone to come and pick up the body, or someone to be aware, because the body couldn't stay there and rot. So I'm not a security person, but just common sense. So that phone will speak volume. And that phone number can be known, because guess what? That phone was used to call, I call it girl Welle, or Princess friend Welle. So, and the journalist, the Cool FM journalist, saw the number and even told us the time the call was made, the length of time of the call. Don't the police have the sense to go after that phone? Can they know that phone number and trace who owns that phone? Besides getting all of the people in the building to the police station, which is a good thing, they all need to explain. But importantly so, the phone calls, in my view, in my analysis, I would think the phone call will reveal whoever called Princess from the onset. So don't tell Liberian there was no foul play. Do your preliminary investigation, give us the basic facts as you gather. Then when you're telling us now there was no foul play, we can make analysis of what you're telling us and see what you're telling us is indeed true or false, or it's just a cover-up. Once again, the second phone call, okay, the first one was a princess to go. The second was when she was dying. The third was when her boyfriend called. So 3 phones, likely, because the phone that princess used to call her friend very likely had blood on it. Very likely had blood on that phone. Because if she was dying, if even she, oozing blood, her hand may have been bloody some way, somehow. Assuming. And then if she did make a call, definitely that phone will have some kind of a blood on it. Where is that phone? Well, maybe the police have it by now. And the third phone was the phone that was in her bag when her princess boyfriend called. That phone was taken from princess' bag by the police officer, according to the Cool FM fellow. So then, these are basic facts that we think the police, the justice ministry, should be able to. That autopsy, when you ask the police, they say, oh, we order autopsy, is not sufficient. The autopsy is not going to explain all of the circumstances surrounding princess' death. The autopsy wouldn't be able to say, okay, you know why? Princess was choked, or this and that happened. That's all the report's going to say. Oh, there was no cutting on princess' body or whatever. That's what the autopsy is going to be explaining. The autopsy is not going to be telling Liberians, oh, there was no call made, or there was call made, or whatever. So it is you, the police, the justice ministry, that have that responsibility to give Liberian the preliminary findings. So what has happened? So it shouldn't be, oh, no, we're not order autopsy. No, you have an obligation to tell Liberian, the constitution, the workings of the government. You need to tell the Liberian people. When those kind of things happen in the U.S., and people think when you want to say this, oh, America is different from Africa, from Liberia, right? But in this country, when one person gets killed or dies, it's a matter of seriousness. People are concerned. Government officials speak. Sometimes the president speaks. What is wrong with George? We are speaking on these matters. I mean, all the time people talking this thing, that man doesn't have the common sense to say, hey, I mean, I need to put a halt to this to the wave of killing. And then people think the society must be that way all the time. Having said those, we are concerned, we are watching, and we talk to emphasize this point, and the assistant minister, we're still waiting on him. Anytime you want to give us a call, we'll be glad to set another time where you can give us some update. This is an issue that I concerned about. Princess death is untimely. We can bring her back to life, but that investigation can send a wave of warning for those who will be murderers. Having said that, this is 2A Radio. We want to end up with discussion that Liberia can get better when everyone, and we want to also say thanks to those who have been exercising their right to demonstrate. I mean, demonstration is part of democracy. Demonstrate and tell the Liberian government that we mean well. One Liberian dies should be the concern of all Liberians. And by that, the government will be more concerned and will also ensure the investigation go on rightly. Thank you so much. This is 2A Radio. We've been here, and on the next time, thank you for watching.